Hey Mark, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
So we got lots to talk about today. Fill
We
us in.
do.
Give us the scoop.
The May stats are in,
Okay, let's hear them.
and it's kind of disheartening. And I want people to keep in mind that apparently last year was the lowest year in sales in 25 years.
Yeah.
So we're even lower than last year. So
Yeah.
I'm going to share the screen and give you some numbers, but that's very worrisome to me.
And and year to we'll talk about year to date later on, but year to date past these numbers were pretty flat to last year. Now we're seeing from year to date too, we're down from last year, just not month to date, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about year to date. Might as well talk about year to date first, then we can dive into the numbers. So year to date sales in Barrie is 1,007. Last year there was 1,019.
Right.
So big, a small dip. Year to date, we're still, let's just call it flat. 12 transactions, big deal. But on
My
this,
issue is that like up until now we were either still more than last year
yeah,
over like for year to date, or we were level and now we're actually dipping below. And
yeah,
last year was the slowest in freaking 25 years. So
yeah,
that's worrisome, right?
yeah, it is. And I think, again, we've had this discussion before. Why? Well, lots of interest rate increases, lots of pauses
Yeah,
now.
but look at Mark. January sales 142 this year, last year 101. We
Yeah,
actually were up.
yeah,
February 185, last year 144. We were actually up.
yeah.
Then in
On
March,
yeah,
almost level. April, below. May, below. So it's just the last 2, 3 months that we're starting to go down.
yeah, yeah. And those
We
are
were
the good,
actually, we were actually above in the first 3 months. And now
yeah.
the next 2 months we're going down.
And these months are big months in the real estate business. March, April, May, June here are big months, right? So we're
Yeah.
seeing a lot of properties come available. We're seeing a lot of inventory increase as well, folks. So that's another concern too, in a way.
I had to
Like
get my flies water, Mark.
get them. I'm more on a year to date where we are. To me, it's kind of flat, but I will say in some categories and price ranges is pretty flat. I'm not going to say there's big increases because there's just not. We're not seeing that. We're seeing some decreases in price points on those higher ranges as it pushes out a lot of people in the affordability range. Okay, you're back. So let's go through some.
There was a fly sitting on my camera
Get rid of them.
right on it. Now he's gone, but I need this in case he comes back to it.
Let's talk about the inventory numbers. Go ahead.
Okay, so this year 241 sales,
Yep.
last year 308.
Yep.
Actives went from 418 to 714.
That's a big jump. Now, okay, I have to ask 714. That's all we're including condos in that category too,
Yeah, well,
correct?
so is 418 though.
Okay. Okay. So we're apples to apples. Okay.
It's apples to apples.
All right, I want to know. Good. And the
Yeah.
and those stats we didn't make these numbers up. They're coming right from the Real Estate Board, correct?
No, and people, just so you know, and I did a video on this a couple months back
Good
or a month
report.
back. When you go on realtor.ca and you pulled active listings in Barrie, they're all doubled up.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
shows way over 1,000.
Does.
And
Does.
I actually got a comment last week. Well, Diane, I went on realtor.ca, says there's 1,000, blah, blah, blah. Well, they're all doubled up, Mark, because the Barrie board and the Toronto board are both there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not accurate. You can't use that.
No,
Rob
okay.
even called me a couple weeks ago. Diane, it shows there's this many listings. Rob, there's not.
There's not.
So like you can't go by that. It's not correct.
It's not correct. So the inventories has gone up quite a bit, right? And we're going to break down later on in our broadcast here by ranges too to show where the sales are and where the inventory levels are in some certain ranges. What are you seeing in the market for
Well,
me?
another thing I want to talk about is that the average price really hasn't gone down.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
It's gone down a touch,
Yeah.
but like what percentage is that? Do the 789. You want me to do the math?
Do the math.
Yeah,
No.
789,991. Because like It's not like, even though the sales are sucking, the prices,
valuations are holding, right? The values,
yeah, they're not, okay, Mark, it's 1%.
I know, it's flat. Let's call it flat, 1%. It's not bad. And we're seeing that a lot, right? In all the ranges. I'm not seeing a real big, say in the low price points, we're seeing, of course, more transactions, but I'm not seeing the prices really necessarily increasing over last year. I'm not.
No,
I'm really not. Right? I'm not.
it's a touch, but
Sometimes it's a touch. It's almost flat, right?
almost flat.
On a bigger stage than with all these numbers, it's flat. Yes, the odd one is selling a little bit more, but there's probably a reason why it is selling more. Either it's prettier, it has some nice features, they've done a lot of work, they've priced the property properly, it's not sitting on the market, the right buyer, the right time,
Well,
done.
Mark, listen, it's the same as you'll see some that get less than they should,
Oh yeah, we're seeing both sides of the
but
fence.
it's a gong show inside.
That's right. That's right. So,
Like, this isn't the market to try to sell properties with a bunch of problems with them. Like, in
oh,
the height of the market, people were buying anything, but now they're much pickier, right?
they are, and there's a lot of competition. Look at the number. Here it is. If that's not jumping on its sellers to go, okay, if I'm thinking of listing right now, I have a lot of competition. We'll go through the inventory levels in the certain ranges, but I will say, do everything you can do to make that property stand out from the competition. You just can't put a sign up on the lawn anymore, or get I call the iPhone pictures, have your agent take the pictures with his iPhone or her iPhone. That's not working. We've navigated, we've gone through videos and stuff, and we've seen some pictures with we go, I can't make heads or tails of the layout. It doesn't show the layout. So we're
And
getting
pictures sell houses, Mark. Like, people
pictures
look
sell houses.
online and
Yes.
they decide which ones, like, yourself. You sent your clients listings that it's a nice area, it's a decent layout, and they say, no, we don't want to see it.
Yeah. Oh,
They
yeah.
look at the pictures and they decide we don't like it.
That's right. It happens all the time. So
They
I
haven't
think
even walked in it.
no, no, no. So that's the thing.
So
Do everything you do.
yeah, we'll go through down here. I have the breakdown. Gosh, that's not it. Hold on.
Move up.
Well, you know what? I can't use my mouse if I'm using my camera.
Oh no.
So I got to use my pad here.
Okay. There they are.
They're there.
There we go. So this is the breakdown. So 7 sales for 500,000 to 600,000, 7 sales this year, 13 last year. But I'm not really looking at that as a big thing, Dan, because that's such a low range. It's hard to find something between 5 and 600,000 in barrier. Let's be honest.
Yeah. We need to explain that to people.
Right.
The sales are really low because there's no inventory in that price.
Correct. And the inventory numbers for that range currently right now, as of today, there's only 18 properties available in the 5 to 600,000 range. I didn't pull them up. I didn't go through them all, but there's 18 properties.
Well, and normally they're rough or they have big.
That's right.
In them.
That's right. There's a reason why they're sitting, right?
Yeah.
But when we look at the 6 to $700,000 range, that's your townhome range. That's your blank semi-detached, the odd detached, 1,100 square foot, 49 sales this year, 56 last year. Well, call it pretty flat, still a pretty hot range, right? We're still seeing some product in that category. And currently right now there's 63 listings in that range. So selling okay.
Yeah.
Range sells pretty good. It's been that way for over a year and a half now. I see it.
Yeah.
The 7 to 8, 60 to 60 souls. As we get higher in the price ranges,
We see the bigger variance.
right. That's right. Where 60 to 76 in the $700,000 range. And there's some nice product in that range. Right? There's some
There is.
the listing that came up and it sold. It was on Empire. I don't know if you saw it.
I saw one on Empire that sold in the 8s, I think, and I was like,
Oh, eight, I think maybe 8. I saw it the other day. Under 819, 806.
And I had to go look at it just to see, like, what is going on Empire?
It was nice house.
That's a low price in that area.
It is, it sold quickly, so they priced it really good. I'm not gonna say someone got a bang up deal, but I'm gonna tell you, they sure have a bang up area for that price point, right? Like that area is a great area, so, you know, the stuff in certain communities and areas and neighborhoods always sells quick. So let's look at the 8 to 9 range, 44 sales in 2024 and 81 in 2023. There,
Almost friggin' half.
let's just call it half. That's massive. That's a big, big drop. Now I look at the inventory numbers in that range. We have 114. So I do the math on the inventory. What is it? By
3 months,
shoot, hang on.
3.5.
Right. So it's 38%. I'm going by the percentage of inventory. 38% of the properties are selling in that range. Wow. So 62% are not selling.
Well, and you know what's funny to me is your next two categories, because the actual 900 to 1 million is worse than over 1 million.
Yeah, I know.
Isn't that funny? Kind of.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm going to put my phone on silent because I didn't do that. Bad on me. There we go.
I didn't hear it.
Good. I'm glad we didn't. I'm going to call my work. Okay. Save
Yeah,
it.
you know what? I didn't shut my phone off.
Yeah. So that 8 to 9 range, bit of inventory, 38% selling, 63% is not. Sorry, 62% or whatever is not selling. So that's a concern. And usually we've been seeing in that range previous months now, we've been seeing okay numbers in that
I
higher,
know.
right? So it was a bit of it is a big shot. Because we can't say, well, there's no product.
No.
114 listings. We got lots of inventory.
Yeah.
9 to 1 million, 20, and then look at that, 2023, 50. That's again, we look at the inventory levels, we got 74 properties. That's still a lengthy part of the product. We still have a lot of inventory in the market. So this is a bit of a shocker. Like I said, more in the 8 to 9 and down. And then we look at the $1 million range, half, a little less than
A
half.
little bit less than half,
But
or a
less
little
than,
more than half.
right? So the less, so that like that's kind of and that's kind of normal that we've seen, but I don't know. I'm concerned with these ranges.
8
They've
to
really
9 and
popped
9 to
off.
1 million.
I am, right? It's
That's
kind of,
crazy.
yeah, it is. It is. I don't know, right? And again, inventory levels have gone up across the board as we've discussed it. Are buyers waiting for the announcement tomorrow? That's the golden question. Is that going to make them jump off the couch? Some, yeah. But is it going to change sentiment in the market? I think it's going to do that job. I think it's going to change. Great, great. Now we're finally seeing some relief. And now maybe is the time to start looking. And that buyer will probably go variable. I know I would. I'd ride it all the way down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like everybody, when I went, everybody, no matter what, right? When we seen people buying in 2022 at the peak, what did they jump into? Variable product.
Yeah, I
So,
know.
yeah, so that's some interesting numbers. Again, like on a year-to-date basis, we're flat. Let's see what June kind of pulls out. We're seeing some, the second half of May really picked up a lot. We were a little concerned.
Well, okay, this is another thing I want to talk about. So at our half month, we were down 35%.
Yeah, we were.
And now we're down 22.
Yep.
So the last 2 weeks stepped it up a bit,
Yes.
because
Yes.
we were down 35%. We were thinking, holy shit.
Yeah. That's a big number.
So the last 2 weeks must have actually picked up more than it did last year, if you know what I mean, because it made up the difference, because we were down 35%.
No, I agree. No, it did. Well, is it a seasonality thing? I don't know, right?
I don't
I don't
know.
know. We're gonna see what June, will it average out in June? I think it will. If we see a rate decrease, yes, some people are gonna come in the market. So we should, on a year-to-date basis, that it should kind of go flat, we would think. But do you think there's
You know,
still?
I am so excited for a rate decrease. And
You,
it isn't for why most people would think. I just want to see what's going to happen because people are so affected by the media, and the buyer's confidence is totally reliant on what the media is saying. So if the media shifts the narrative, what are people going to do? I can't wait to see. It's like a herd of buffalo.
Yeah, I think it's gonna get some people going, but I just don't think it's gonna drive the market like people are expecting. You know,
I don't think so either. Well, because in reality, the 2.5 doesn't really get you approved for much more.
no, it doesn't. It's small, right? It will change sentiment, and it will say some buyers will go, okay, let's get serious and start looking, and let's roll the dice, because then some risk takers will roll the dice, go, let's go variable and take advantage of that before, like you said, everyone starts to jump in, because that's going to come. These prices will lift. As we see more decreases, we're going to see some more uptrends in the real estate market. We're going to see that, right? But we're not seeing it right now, and we're seeing a lot of supply over last year. We're lucky that the prices really haven't come down. They haven't, pretty flat.
But
So
what I want to see is the interest rate actually stopping people, or is it their sentiment?
I think it's both. I think it's both.
Well, if we get a cut and all of a sudden we see a surge, it's not, it's the sentiment, not the interest rate, because they're still
Right.
approved for basically the same amount.
That's right. That's right. It's not going to do much. And
But it'll be interesting to see if the sentiment makes actually that much difference.
yeah, well, I think it will. Short term, well, I think it will. It will get people a bit more optimistic about things. You know, we're seeing some relief at the pumps. I was out in Angus today and I saw gas at $1.52. Holy cow, that's cheaper than Costco. Like, we need to see a little bit of things in the cost of living today. We need to see some prices come down, start people feeling better. Every time I go to the grocery, every time I connect with friends, oh my God, the price of groceries. Oh my God, the gas. It's just the topic of the conversation. And then imagine people commuting for city. Holy cow. Imagine their gas bills every month.
Mark, you know my little SUV thing.
Yep.
50 or 60 bucks doesn't fill it, but it's not big, right?
Hey, you got a 4-cylinder there.
I got a 4-cylinder. I went to Oakville and back over the weekend, or maybe it was the weekend before, right? Yeah. I think there and back and one way was 50 bucks.
Oh,
Drain the 50 bucks I put in.
That's right. That's right. So,
Like, holy shit.
are we gonna?
That's like, it's an hour and 15 to get there. So that's like 3.5 hours of driving.
Oh yeah, I know. It's expensive.
Holy crow.
You can imagine these people
I was like,
commuting, right? And
crazy.
these people that want to move up here from North York area, they're going, holy cow, I'm spending $700 a month in gas. I don't know. Maybe we buy down here. Maybe, right? Maybe they
Or
can't get
rent.
rent or something, but I think that will change too for people to say, hey, you know what, we can now go north because gas is finally coming down. But I think that's some time away, but we'll see. Give this a like, give it a share, get a follow for more information. Anybody wants more information on the real estate market, call Dan or myself. We're very
Drop us a
knowledgeable.
comment too.
Yeah, drop comments. I mean, a lot of people do. We like to see some new ones, some new faces on the channels, leaving some comments.
Or
We get
questions.
good ones, but we get some really good ones too, and we kind of answer them all. But let's just see what happens going forward after Wednesday. And sellers, don't get all cocky yet, because now is not the time with all this inventory. It's my last comment.
Okay.
Okay. See ya.
See ya.